Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to part 16 of the TOS Enterprise build. Today we got the base coat on, so today we're going to actually start adding some of the detail work on. Sealed it up with a clear coat so we can start gluing some pieces on. So let's go take a look. Well, hello everybody. All the hull color is on the ship. Saucer, this was the big one. Lower hull is all painted. Looks really good. Even back here looks really good. Me masking that off, I was able to get some of the hull color down in here. I'm going to have to touch up deep inside there. I was able to spray this whole back half and not really worry, because before I get clear, if any overspray gets in there, I can just take a wet, since this is a water-based acrylic, I can just take a wet cotton swab and hit in there. But that little half circle tape worked perfect. It gave me that color here on the edge. Looks like we got most of it in there. We just got to get way back in there. Yeah, even on this side, even up in there, got it. We just got to get way back in that back wall, and probably down on the floor a little bit too, because I didn't hit as much this way. But yeah, I'm liking that. That's gonna look good. I'm gonna have to paint that seam where the two meet. I think I'm going to do it that the floor color of the shuttle bay, and then leave this that gray-green rim out here. Like the refit has the white ring. But yeah, that's done and the cells are done. It's now just taking masks off. So I pulled some masks here. Oh yeah, and I had this fall in. I liquid masked this with the liquid latex, and I went to do that to scrape it off the top here, and that whole piece fell right in. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I had that glued in for sure before anything was painted. But anyway, all in all, it's looking great. Just a few little touch-ups and putting some window maker in these windows to A, bring them more flush, and B, give them more definition. But everything's working good. I already did a test. So what I started doing is working on the impulse deck. I already put the photo etch grills in there before. Then I'm like, I think they say don't even put the clear plastic piece in, but I did. Now the clear plastic piece has recess, extensions for them to go into these. It's like a flat piece of plastic, and it has these squares that, come out, because they're supposed to come into, into this part here. They'll actually come out. I don't know if they'll come out fully flush. I think they just come out a little bit, because they weren't really thick, to fill in, this a little bit. Well, the photo etch there, I can't have that plastic push into these squares. So all I did is just scratch both sides of it and flipped it in backwards, where here you can see there's where it starts, and there's the square that would go into these square holes. So the other side's completely flat, so I just scratched both sides, put the flat side facing out, and there's my diffuser. Is having that plastic in there diffuses the light a little bit, with those bulbs being so close. So, oops, didn't want to turn it off, just wanted to push it back. So I guess we can start gluing some stuff on here. Get a few things on there, and then we'll get ready to decal. But I might start putting some stuff on here, and this really doesn't have much, but this bottom dome, which I'll wait. But I did get this in here. What I did is took a pair of pliers where I could grab the light, and I just pulled it down in, and it fit right back in there like it was never glued, which is funny. You know, I thought I was going to struggle and not, you know, want to get down in that hole, but it went whoop right down in there. And then I just took the Revell glue, and I could get in there with a needle and hit all the seams, and I doused it, so it ain't going nowhere now. It's still shiny, clear, hardened blue now, right at that seam. You know? And then I took some of the extra thin quick set and hit that in there so it can spread around and do its thing as well. I'll have to touch up a little bit of this edge, but you won't see most of it because this is going to be a white. I'm going to spray this clear part with a, mist it with a white so you can't see in there. And I think it covers most of that rim, but I like to touch it up anyway just in case. Same thing with the top, where the bridge is. The mask I had to put on here, I knew was, you know, it has to tape to the top. You know, to try to get a piece of mask in there and, you know, have it taped to the ceiling would be almost impossible. Unless you can get a tool in there that would help push it up against the ceiling, because as soon as, even with this, I had a piece, whoop, want to go down just from the pressure of the spray gun or something. So there is a little spot, a little rim, but like I said, the plastic piece is going to sit over that rim too, so I'll just brush a little bit on there just to have color, so if you do see a little bit of it, it'll be hidden, because this will be clear so you can see the bridge. And then I'll probably paint the sides in here too, and I think I'm going to do it with the hull color. Go in there, sand that where some paint tried to sneak through my mask. But I think I'm going to paint that the hull color so it looks like the hull color, and the ceiling's not really painted if you were in there. But you can't see it, so don't worry about it. But everything's looking good. So we can see how this fits. Oh, it's fitting great, especially since I sanded it before I painted it. It's fitting much better. And up top too. I think the top's where I had the most problem. Yeah, she went in there good there. Give her a little pushy. Alright, so we can probably glue that on, but let's take a look to see what it looks like lit up. As you can see, that still works. I think I'm going to end up using the black window masks for those, and then clearing over it with a clear coat. And that's pretty much what they did on the real ship anyway. But yeah, all the windows are working. My nav lights are working. Like I said, just got to dome that. I really do like how I did the white, cool white here for the 3 circles, and then the regular human windows where there would be people. We kept with the warm light. That is good. Same with those. I did those in a regular white. It's hard to see on camera what's warm light and what's not. But yeah, all these are lighting like they should. Flip her over. Everything up here is lighting like it should. It's great. Even the bridge you can see really good. It's lighting up nice. And those extra strip around it really brightened it up, especially the main viewing screen. It's kind of washing out a little bit, but there's not much you can really do. Those decals don't have enough depth as far as the coloring. The coloring would have to be printed pretty heavy, but not yet. Especially the black. I wish the black was painted more heavy. And then I have the Romulan bird of prey in the view screen. But yeah, you can see they're really good, and all the consoles are lighting up good, and all their screens are lighting up really good. The red and green nav lights are going good, same with on the sides. These I can see light trying to come out, so we know they're going to work. But let's look at the, if we can do this without these things touching and beeping. See how that looks. Oh yeah, that looks great. Like I said, with the camera, it washes a lot of that out. Okay, I see a little light trying to sneak out right there. Are we going to be able to block that? Nope. It's right there. And these could come down a little. I don't think that's the problem. I mean, it could be that it's right on top of the... They're hitting more up top. They didn't really have a way to judge up and down. Let's see if that helps it. Yeah, that did help it. Pull it down a little more. And I want to get them a little more centered on the where the exhaust grills are anyway. So if you get one of these even slightly in, it kind of fits everything. Oh, that solved it. I think they were just sitting way too high up. That one might look like it can go that way, and the other one looks pretty centered. They're pretty good. Pretty good. But yeah, those impulse engines are looking good. And that definitely helped that. I think that was pushing way up there. But I am going to have to press, get a piece of tape. Presses that in pretty good. But yeah, I'm just going to glue these pieces on. There's not much to glue on this saucer. These will wait till later, the little red domes. I'm going to do all the decal and then clear coat it and then put those in. Yeah, the only other part is that spine piece, which is ready. I went and painted all the pieces. I think I have to ream those holes out a little bit because A, they fill up with paint, and B, should have a bigger towel here, and B, they're really tight. So, yeah, and then that goes on there like that. And it's going to look good. And it's starting to look like a ship. But I just wanted to show you the update. I'm just going to start, like I said, putting these pieces on. Then I might move to the secondary hull and start pulling all those masks off. To the cell they can start building. I actually put the end caps on, not glued on. Yeah, these really came out good too. Give them a light sanding for the clear coat. A little bit where some of those runs were, but they're not, you know, they're not really showing up that bad. Seams aren't too bad, but yeah, I put these caps on. I put those two together. I glued those together. And I think I'm going to put a little bit of silver tape in here for this yellow light, which I can, maybe. Impulse, I was able to pull them up straight off, but I think I wrapped these a little tighter. There we go. But yeah, for those yellow pieces. Did I bend those, or? I think I did. But these have a notch in them, so you put them the right way. And they just press right on there and they look really good. They're pressing on there really nice too. It's a good thing I go through and sand those as well. It's always good to sand these ends, so anything that's going on it is gonna fit in there. That's the power to go to that little red light on top, and this is the universal neutral, and these are the blue light, the yellow light, and power. Nice. Yeah, everything came out good. You can actually pull this off. So we're not going to need it on there anymore. Just don't do stupid things. Like whatever you're trying to do there. I don't want you there because even just a little thickness of you can make it hard for that plastic piece to go in. I don't want to scrape too much this side because we don't want to lose paint. I think those cover all that anyway, but still. Just in case. There we go. See in there again. And I hope those blue lights are enough to go through the grills that I have for this. Where are they? I got those photo etch pieces on. I gotta take them off and give them a light sand and spray them silver. So hopefully those will. This will go like that. Somewhere here, and then the short one's up here, I think. But light definitely goes through the plastic, and I know Boyd says he just uses the plastic instead of the clear parts that come with the Polaroids kit. And it definitely glows quite bright. And I don't want these beaming bright either. I want to do like, I want them to be kind of like the inner chiller grills on the NX1, the inner ones. I made it a little darker, so I hit it with more of the transparent blue to dull it down. And then the outer ones I have brighter. But these are going to be the inner ones, like this would be this side. So there's some kind of little stain here and here. I don't know what it is. And it also, it bled through all the colors, all the paint. A little black speck there, probably a little hair. Yeah, that'll sand off because I can tell it's in the clear. But other than that, these are pretty dust free, but then they also hung. That's why where these sat flat. But yeah, I like to test this, but I'm thinking if I do a little silver, because the light's going to come in like this, if I do a little silver up here, and I could even do some down on the bottom, clean that injection pin part. I always thought these were like white too in the show, but yeah, they're the actual hookup. And this has got the matte color, which is what the matte, which I'm gonna do on these. Right now they're glossy, so that's another reason why they're showing every little speck and bump. Once it's flat, you don't get the shininess, you know, where a bump glares at you. Because those came out really good. Like these almost don't even look painted. But you can see how much lighter they are compared to the paint. Yeah, those came out great. So yeah, we can start doing all that stuff. I can glue those on. I can start building these inner chiller grill parts. I can start painting these pieces, which I found a really cool paint. I think it's going to work good for the, I think it's the Yeah, these the upper top ones in the back. They say it's an off. What do they say? Number 3, which they are saying inner cooler accent. They don't really give you a color, but I found this pale gray by Anita's, and it pretty much matches exactly what they have there. So that's cool. But yeah, I can get that. Those are all that color, so I can get that. And then these here are partial that color with the gray in the center. So we can start painting them up. Now it's the fun time. Assembly. But like I said, I just wanted to show you where I was at, what we're doing. I didn't want to bore you with me sitting there cursing out pulling masks apart. That's never a fun job, even to do yourself, let alone watch somebody. So, started putting some accent pieces in. I put those grills in on that side just to see how they'd fit, and they fit tight, even with all the sanding I did to them. But I got them down there. I actually thought the photo etch pieces would have replaced the plastic piece, but you gotta glue them on there, which I didn't really like too much, because gluing a grill onto another flat surface, you kind of end up having to make sure your glue's not too thick that it comes up through the grills. Which you can see a little bit on some of them. Even if it just covers the hole a little bit, and then the paint finds it and looks different. But it's not bad. It looks fine. So I figured I'd do that one side just to see how they were, because I was a little afraid that they were going to be a pain. One thing I found, I'm using the Tamiya cement in the orange. I'm brushing that in here. Then I get the piece in, and then I hit it with this thin set around the edges, and it actually helps soften the build-up of paint on the edges. And actually helps it press back down. Because I really don't want to file these edges anymore because I painted them. So we'll see if we can get them in that way. If I have to, I will. And also all the masks are off. That was a pain. I got a lot of touch-ups there. Grab paint. The worst ones are the holes, because their holes were not drilled out quite nicely, or even if they were, sometimes the little plastic peg just doesn't fit in it right. It fits tight to one side and leaves a gap, and it just, these came out nice because they stuck straight in. They're not dealing with a curve. All in all, I'm pretty happy. So let's see if we can get some of these in there. That one's starting to fall down in, so this one might fit in pretty decently. We'll see. They're still tight, so I just give 2 good. No, I just give 2 good swipes with the Tamiya cement. That's the one I was going to use. Gotta be this one. Or this one. We'll go with you. I'm gonna get it off the edge here so I have something flat to press against. And you hear them pop in. And that gets them down pretty good. And then I'll just take some of the extra thin. And it immediately wicks its way down into the crack. But I was hoping, and it is doing it, it would soften the edges enough that I can give it that last little push. And it does. That's nice. Alright, yeah, fairly simple. Should have dry fit it to make sure it's going to fit good, but oh well. Sometimes they have a way they want to go in even though they're just rectangles. That one that pretty much went almost all the way down. Did a trap of hair in there? Yeah. There it goes. It broke off. Still manage to get in your paint or under a glue part or something. This side's going a little smoother. Not that the other side went hard, but it's getting them even. It's good to go back to the other ones, because as the glue is softening, the vapors from the solvent are softening the paint up. You can get them to press down even a little better. Yeah, it's looking good. Alright, last one. See how you... I mean, he's fitting so tightly. You probably wouldn't even have to glue them in, but the glue does help them actually settle down in. Like I said, because the solvents, even just the vapors, seeking their way out of the hole. Helps soften the paint. There you go, last one. And there it looks like this top corner just a smidge higher. See if I can get it to go down. Yep. I did it. And there we go. I'm happy with that. Now she has the grills. Now it's starting to look like a ship. Nice. Yeah, that came out really good. And now when the light's not on, you look in there, it gives you kind of a frosty look in there. And I got this spine piece glued on there. I want to fill some more thin cement around it. It's quite a feat to get that down there and to get this down without squishing too much glue out. So it's kind of a constant of putting glue in there and then letting it set and just keeping an even pressure on it. But It up here was the hardest part to get nice and flat. Not massively hard, but I have a little tiny touch-ups right there because I used a tube glue on the pegs and a little bit squished out there. So I let it do its, I wiped the excess off, let it do its thing, and you can pretty much roll it off like rubber cement sometimes. It'll booger up. A little touch up around there. But yeah, it's all looking good. You can see where I scuffed some spots. You probably can't see in the camera because it's more of a shine difference. I'm glad that is in there good now. I can't believe I went to scrape that and that popped in. I was like, really? But yeah, that's where we're getting on that. Not too many things to glue on the saucer. This cap I just still have sitting on there. And this one I just pressed in, but I might glue her. Will that need to go down more? I think so. And they didn't make it fit all the way to the end here either. But a good thing there's going to be a bar going over top, but still, that could have been better. That's kind of lame. Nothing I can do with that except for fill it, and I don't want to fill it because that's kind of lame. I wonder if the other piece is like that. It fits really nice, and I just have them sitting in there. I can get this out now. There it goes. Yeah, am I too far forward or back? Maybe? I think that might have been it. Or there could have still been a bow in the, even in the plastic. Because it was fitting fine here. I mean, you got this weird taper, so there's only one way it can fit. So there might have been a bow. The plastic might have been bowing enough that it made that shrunk. Now that I re-popped it in and started here and then pressed it down. We're looking better. I mean, I got a little gap back here now, but nothing. Because otherwise I'm afraid it's going to leave a shadow when I light it. There it is. Probably have to worry about this too much because those would be covered. Alright, back to the drawing board again. Yeah, that looks better. But we're a little more this way than that way. I'm not liking that, so. There we go. That's the nice thing about the extra thin too. If you need to remove something quick, it's less aggressive, so it's not going to attack everything. It's reseal you. you know, all the photo etch just in that shuttle bay, and the shuttle bay is like goes from here to like here on that one, because you got the different levels. You got your deck, launching deck, then you got the elevator, and then you got the cargo area, which is cool, but yeah, it takes a long time. I cleaned up the yellow light back there. Oh, I can't glue those caps on just yet. I want to put some metal foil in there. So what we can do though, this one fits nice. This one's tight ski everywhere. Just seeing anywhere I see a little bit of a spacing, this glue will fill it in. And then the other nice thing is it actually may melt some of the paint and actually pull the color as it fills the hole. So it looks like you even brushed it. That's good. We'll let those dry, but those look good. Sometimes if you give it a little squish though. And that could be too, that this could be bending up, not sitting down all the way. Yeah, I think that was mainly some of the problem. That it was kind of, you know, and it's the way the wall is, so it fits in here. It's kind of flanged, so if it's lifting up, it leaves up, makes it look like there's a big gap there. But yeah, just pressing down that to fix it really good. Sometimes you need just a little pressure. I like to let it settle a little bit before I push, because then you get that big of glue. And eventually, once the solids dry out of it, they disappear, but if it has paint with it, then it won't. Alrighty then. I think we can go and I'll get some foil tape out, but I'm going to recharge my coffee. I'll put you over there so we don't keep banging into you too, and we'll glue these caps on. And I still got to paint these grills. Still got to paint all the detail. A lot of that detail is going to be the last thing. I might even do the decal so I can sit, you know, it down like this and not have these detail parts in the way. That'll be one of the last thing, and all these that go on here and back here. There's one on each side, yeah. Alrighty, but I'll be back and we'll get some foil in there. I do have some injection mold, pin mold, crap in there. I don't think it's going to affect most of it, because I'm going to do most of it here so it bounces it down into the dome. I mean, I guess I could put a little bit here just so it bounces back and forth and focuses it down to the dome, because the domes are, it's going to take a lot to, I don't even know if these yellow lights are even going to, because like anything painting a sphere, you get more here and never as much on the sides. That's what it looks like. So we'll see. But I will be back.